grow up with the NES, PlayStation, Star Wars, cartoons, and 80s TV? Do you like to think who would win in a fight between Batman and the Master Chief? Comics, games, movies, music, and TV, they're gonna tell you everything you need. Superheroes or not, they got your back. They're gonna save the world of geeks. Games, movies, music, and TV, they're gonna tell you everything you need. Superheroes or not, they got your back. They're gonna save the world of This Week in Geek. This Week in Geek.
Well, hello, and welcome back to another episode. As you probably saw on social media, we were off this week from the main show as Birdman and I are working on a lot of stuff that has come in for our holiday gift guides, Black Friday, last minute gifts, all that fun stuff that comes over the next few weeks as we, roll right into the holiday season. It just didn't line up with how much we were working on, and his schedule didn't line up, and I was like, we're not going to do another solo show. We're going to do another review show. And he says, I have a few things for you. We've got something from Ken here. And then I said, okay, well, I'll see what I can pair with it myself, as there's a bunch of stuff that we want to get to before it gets, untimely. As far as what I have to go through basically a list of the things that I've got that are, some of the things are embargoed, some things are not, and I'll see what I put in. But from Birdman, we've got a pretty decent variety of things here. I know that there's some books. There are some games included from both Birdman and Ken, and that's pretty much it. As far as what else has been going on with us, I have been mostly just nose down into a lot of the programming and behind the scenes stuff, as getting basically shit together for the shows. And Birdman has been the same thing. He was recovering from being ill, and then also just dealing with a lot of, his extracurriculars and like stuff that he does with volunteering and whatnot. So it's been a pretty hectic last week or so, but we should have everything smoothed out as we get to our Black Friday coverage this coming week, as well as getting stuff prepped for the gift guide. So it's not much more I can say here right now. We'll sort of just get into it. I'll come up back at the end and I'll give you an update on some of our programming, because we got a lot of cool stuff coming up. So without further ado, I guess one of us is going to take it away with our first review. Our friends at Atari have sent over the Namco Legendary Pack for Atari 50. For those of you that don't know, I've talked about the Atari 50 pack, as well as just the those gold box sets that have been put out by Digital Eclipse a fair bit. I guess over the last year or two they've been putting them out. The most recent ones being the Tetris one, and then I guess after that was it's not part of the same gold series, but it's the Mortal Kombat package, which, as you've heard us and other people talk about, has had some issues, but overall it's been pretty well received. This is a major expansion for the Atari 50 pack. For those that don't know, it was a game that their whole shtick of how they do things is it provides you with a timeline, and you get to watch documentaries, look at all the interactive pieces of media created for the entire timeline of a company, or either a company, a game studio, or a series. And you'll see interviews, you'll see things like posters and original artwork, and then you can jump in and play the games as you go along the timeline. And then, of course, you can also just jump into the games as you want, but the timeline thing is the really interesting archival piece that they put it together. And what they've done here is they've added the other publisher, Namco, to this, where previously you were looking at things that were first party published by Atari. They've done other expansions as they go, and this time, one of the major companies that work with them over the course of their 50 years was Namco, and you learn a whole bunch of history about how Namco even started in the industry. And I won't spoil much for you, but because it's a really interesting watch. But what you have is games from Namco that are spread over, the different systems that Atari put out, the 2600, 5200, and 7800. There's, games that you would have heard of, like Galaga, Dig Dug, Xevious, Galaxian, as well as all new interviews with all the people involved. We've had a chance to check it out on Xbox as well as Switch, which is pretty sweet. I can confirm that visually it performs and feels just as good on both platforms, which is awesome. And it's one of those things where, yes, it's a cool expansion. You do have to have the base game, but it's 100% worth it. There's a lot of value involved here. I've been singing their praises for quite some time. I've enjoyed it. Great visual, I guess it's not just the visual art style, it's just the art design of visually representing, a timeline of an entire company is really well represented in the art language that they've chosen for this. Audio-wise, it feels like you're in an arcade, or you're just sort of like you're living in the retro documentary yourself as you play it. It can be played, portable, as we said, with the Switch, or, if you want to sit down at a console, you can do that. Your experience is going to be pretty much the same regardless of platform you play it on, which is always nice to see, and it's good that we had a chance to check out on both to make sure. And I'd say it's definitely worth your time. If you're looking for something cool as a gift for, retro dads, moms, kids, anybody, this is a pretty good thing to get. Pick up the base game, get the expansion pack for it, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. I think you're really going to enjoy it.
Hey guys, this is Mike the Birdman here. Once again, I'm here to talk to you about something kind of fun. So I found something interesting while I was browsing YouTube one day, and I was watching a video by TurdOrTreasure YouTuber Ginny D, and in one of her sponsored segments she mentioned a website called Brass Dragon Bistro, and I was very curious, what is this? And she started talking about it, and it's sort of these D&D or TTRPG inspired food, little snacks you can have at your table, like these little gummies and these little caramel things. And while that's awesome and great and tasty, what they do is they offer in-game benefits. So if you're the dungeon master, or even if you're a player and you're willing to share these around the table, this is kind of interesting. So I reached out to Matt and Danny over at Brass Dragon Bistro. I'm like, hey, I saw your ad on Ginny D's video. We're doing a holiday gift guide. I'd love to talk about this. This sounds really weird and kind of fun. And I have talked about gaming food before. If you guys remember Gamer Grub, RIP, I guess, this is kind of in the same vibe as Gamer Food for Gamers. So not quite G Fuel where it'll stop your heart, but this is something that could maybe turn the fight against Vecna or Orcus, for example. So I was sent one of every flavor. I was sent Cosmic Caramels with Champion's Chai, Elven Espresso, Magnificent Mocha, Halfling Hot Cocoa, and they also have ones that are based on gelatinous cubes. We've got Good Berry. I'm a druid, so that's one of my first level spells. We also have gelatinous cubes of Blue Raspberry, Fire Fruit, and Ginger. But what I really dig, it's the writing on the cards. For example, I'm going to read you the one for Goodberry. Sorry, I'm a druid. You're just going to have to deal with that. So this is the gelatinous cube, and it reads as follows. These free-range gelatinous cubes were raised on a delicious diet of foraged good berries and used over the ages as a preemptive cure for all manners of maladies. Or maladies. Either way, sorry. Anyway, you can consume one of these gummy cubes as a bonus action. When you do so, you have resistance to poison damage. You lose this benefit after you take poison damage once, after you finish a short rest, or after you consume another curious confection. Another one I'm going to read you. This is going to be the Magnificent Mocha. This is the Cosmic Caramels one. This caramel combines the luxurious flavor of dark chocolate with the powerful essence of coffee. Oh boy, does it ever. Creating a delectable dessert worthy of any monarch's court. You can consume this caramel as a bonus action. When you do so, you have advantage on the next charisma check or saving throw you make. You lose this benefit after you use it, after you finish a short rest, or after you consume another curious confection. And then finally, Another one I'm going to read you is this is another Cosmic Caramel. This is the Elven Espresso. This caramel is infused with the very same coffee enjoyed by the high elves of the Tower of Watchman's Spire. When consumed, it grants a creature a taste of the mental acuity they experience when studying in those vast libraries. When you consume this caramel as a bonus action, when you do so, you have advantage on the next intelligence check you make. You lose this benefit after you use it. You get the idea. I could see some of these being kind of fun for like an artificer or a wizard. Obviously, you know, poison damage tends to come up a lot, especially in the early levels of D&D, but you could also use this in like Pathfinder or any games that have poison or any of these checks that would apply. I mean, maybe it might be a little harder to use these in like Shadowrun, but I'm pretty sure if you were kind of fun, you could do these. But yeah, I think these are actually really kind of fun, and I really dig these artisanal things where like you can do something kind of fun, and like the prices are pretty reasonable. The Cosmic Caramels run about $10, the gelatinous cubes about $13. You get free shipping on orders over $50 or above, and their customer service, from what I can tell, is really second to none. The fact that I heard back from these guys within like 20 minutes of writing the email is really awesome. I'm gonna presume it wasn't a very gonna presume my name just really stood out, and that, you know, these guys, like I said, really on the ball when it comes to helping out customers, and they were more than accommodating. I have passed these out to my wife Blair and my friend Liam. They really dig the gelatinous cubes. It's a really nice texture. It's different than like, say, a Swedish fish or a gummy bear. It's more gelatinous, and I know that makes no sense, but it's more liquidy than a gummy bear. I would say if I had to place this, if you've ever had a really fresh Twizzlers gummy, or a really, really fresh but slightly more moist Skittles gummy, that kind of reminds me of that. But even that doesn't do it justice. The caramels literally are luxurious. That mocha one I had for the elves, that was the Magnificent Mocha that had the dark chocolate. I am not kidding. That is the best caramel I've ever had. Like, it has such a rich coffee flavor, but it's undercut with the chocolate. It's this really nice infused combination that I really am not doing justice to. It is such a fun confection to have, and the fact that this can have an effect on your TTRPG experience, I think is great. Like, honestly, if you gave these out as stocking stuffers for your dungeon master or your game mastering or your like kind of table that you're kind of playing at, I think you're really gonna impress people. Like, I really wish I could share these with my friends, mostly because we play online, not because I'm fat, but no, seriously. Brass Dragon Bistro really went out of their way to make sure I had every sample available to them. I really think these guys are great to deal with. So if you happen to do something with Brass Dragon Bistro, please let them know that we sent you. I really think this is fun. I love adding new wrinkles to the live play experience at my table, and honestly, if there's anything left when I go down to my friendly local game store, and if any of my players wish to partake in a free-range gelatinous cube, I might just have to do that. So once again, if you want to find out more information about these guys, go to brassdragonbistro.com. Tell them Mike from This Week in Geek sent you. And yeah, I think that's awesome. So once again, big thanks to those guys for sending us samples of this, and look forward to me recommending these again when we have our TTRPG holiday gift guide, which will be premiering in early December.
The hooded cultists chant, "Hail, Lord Vecna. Hail, Lord Vecna." They turn to you. Remove their hoods. You recognize most of them from Mockbar. There is one you do not recognize. His skin shriveled, desiccated, and something else. He is not only missing his left arm, but his left eye.
Hey guys, this is Mike the Birdman here. I'm here to talk to you about something that our friends over at Wizards of the Coast sent over for us to take a look at. This is the Dungeons & Dragons Welcome to the Hellfire Club box set inspired by the Netflix show Stranger Things, based upon the character Eddie, who really ramps up the D&D lore in the 4th season, where he passes the reins of the Hellfire Club over to Dustin or Will. I can't remember which one it is. I don't think it's Mike. But either way, what this is a box set that includes multiple adventures, multiple character sheets for the characters as they advance through levels, so level 1, level 2, level 3, etc., and some dice, some monster tokens, item cards, monsters, etc. I do like how they do the Dungeon Master screen that comes with this set. It is a really nice set, and I'm actually probably going to use that as my DM screen whenever I do convention games here at the University of Guelph, or I'll be using this at my friendly local game store, where I am one of the game masters there currently. What this is, though, this is an introductory box set where you're running very simple adventures, but I would argue they're really creative. Like, there's one where you have to find this vanishing gnome. He dares you to find him in this dungeon where you fight a spawn of the Demogorgon, which is the monster that they've really decided to highlight in Stranger Things, like the weird creature with like the weird flower head with all the teeth and everything. And if you find this vanishing gnome, you get a cap of vanishing. Or another one, this is the adventure I think I like the most out of the set, is you get hired by a farmer to go find his missing daughter, and it turns out there's a blight that's happening to the land because the stake that was used to kill a vampire has kind of gotten a life of its own and has sprouted these evil vines, and his loyal hounds that were with him are now resurrected and are causing trouble. And it's really, really creative. Like, there's actually are adventures here with plot and consequences. There's another one where there's like this murderer who has like this pipe that can like summon rats and everything. There's like even like a demonic element in here. Honestly, the adventures, they feel like they were written with a lot of love, and someone who is definitely playing the game around the 1980s and into the 90s. Like, I'm old enough to remember what the old D&D and AD&D sets used to look like with the different colored booklets here. They've actually recreated that to a limited extent here. Like, when I read through the books, I feel the love, I feel the vibe. And as much as I was expecting a character like Eddie to have these really edgy encounters with like more like types of like undead and fiends, like I was expecting the Welcome to the Hellfire Club to be not a starter set. I was expecting this to be of higher levels personally, kind of like the more adventure pathy stuff where it's like, hey, this is meant for characters 1 to 12 or something. That's kind of what I was expecting. But this is a pretty cool box set that's themed. The last Stranger Things box set was also quite good, I thought. I liked the mini that came with it. But I think in terms of what you're getting in terms of plot and in terms of adventures, I think this is a lot better written. And this is obviously based on the 2024 kind of rule set. So take from that what you will. I like some of the rules I don't. But considering we just got the Heroes of the Borderlands set a little while ago, I think I prefer this one as the better box set. I think there are better tokens in the other set. If I had to, if I had to yoink something out of there, I like the character sheets here because, again, they feel like the old school AD&D sheets. Here's like all your stats, here's all your modifiers, this, that, and the other thing. Here's like your spells and everything. Again, I dig that. I love that. And I like how they even have the players' names like, hey, here's Erica, etc., etc. It feels very steeped in the world. And the fact that they call it the world of Grey Hawkins, Castle Byers, stuff like that, like, it's very steeped in the lore of the show. If you know, you know. And I dig that. That's very apropos, I think is the word they call it. I probably messed it up, but whatever. No, seriously, I think this is great. With the new season and final season of Stranger Things coming to a streaming service very, very soon. Probably even as of this recording, I think it should be out within like a week or so. No, seriously, I think Welcome to the Hellfire Club is one of the strongest box sets, at least in my opinion, and I'm mostly basing that upon the adventures. I think with the right game master and with the hype coming back, I think this could really get people excited. If I did have to make one minor quibble, like I said, I wish the tokens were a little bit better. There actually is a Netflix Stranger Things branded dice set. It would have been really cool to get those in here just to add extra value. But what really impresses me, it's the theming of the items, and the artwork on the Dungeon Master screen in here is awesome. It looks like Will's basement. It has just the overwhelming theme of Eddie. Now, to talk very briefly about the digital version of this, I like how you're getting all of the maps. Obviously, you're getting all of the different tokens. You can put down the scarecrows and stuff like that. I use them for other things in my game. There's even like pictures of Eddie, which we use as graffiti in our games, and we have them have the magic mouse spell. So it's actually worked out really well for my game master friend Paul. So yeah, we really like this. I recommend it. I think this is a great way to get into D&D, and with Stranger Things reigniting the hype, I think you should definitely give this a check out this holiday season.
Time out!
Guys, I hate to say this, but we've got to flee.
I concur.
Didn't we just agree to the death?
That wasn't literal. Vecna just decimated us. We can't kill him with 2 players.
You too? He only has 15 hit points left. Don't be pussies.
Pussies? Really? Because we're not delusional?
Delusional? How about not cowards?
Hey! If I may interject, gentlemen, Lady Applejack, whilst I respect the passion, you'd be wise to take Gareth the Great's concern to heart. There is no shame in running.
Hey guys, Ken Reels here, and welcome to my review for Elden Ring, Nightreign for the Xbox. And thank you to folks over at Bandai Namco and From Software for sending me a code. This was the deluxe edition that they sent over to me. And this is a third-person Soulsborne Fortnite-type run-based game. Now that is a mouthful of a sentence, but hear me out. You and up to 2 other buddies can team up, or you can just go solo, battling the Creeping Knight and the denizens therein. You drop in a Fortnite kind of styled Elden Ring asset using map, and as the encroaching night or rain seeplessly crawls into a circle, you end up having to battle all these different enemies from Elden Ring, as well as some of the bosses, and that counts as a night. Now, there are 3 nights in the game, and each night is stronger and stronger enemies. Each night you fight one from a pool of major bosses, with the final night being a very specific boss that you select before starting your run. You select from a pool of 6 predetermined characters, with additional characters coming in the upcoming DLC, which was recently announced to be dropping in December. Each character has 2 unique special moves, one that you can trigger as normal on a cooldown, but there is another one that is basically your ultimate move that you use the ability to use by dealing damage to enemies. And each character is built very specifically unique enough where that you're going to eventually find one that suits your play style and works for you. Overall, I'm incredibly happy with what I've played so far of this game, and for the Soulsborne player who really wants a quick little dose of that fun without having to jump into a new save of one of the previous titles, it certainly scratches that itch, and it is quick, it's fun, it's simple, you know what you're doing, and you just go. There are actually 2 versions of the game digitally that you have. You have the regular edition, which will cost you 40 USD, and the deluxe edition, which will cost you 55 USD. The deluxe edition comes with the newly announced DLC at no extra charge, as well as a digital art book and mini soundtrack. And honestly, I'm super happy with this. Expect to actually hear my recommendation on the holiday gift guide, which is coming later this month, for this title, because this title is top notch. Cannot wait to play more of this. Thank you to the folks over at Bandai Namco and From Software for sending me a code. And now, back to the guys.
Alex, the producer here, and this is going to be a quickie little, I guess, roundup of indie titles that I've had to review on Steam. First impressions, a little bit of a full review for some smaller titles that are very interesting. We wanted to make sure we talked about them as we're getting closer and closer to the holiday season, and you might be looking to get somebody like a gift card for Steam, or looking to pick up some like stocking stuffers, that sort of stuff, or even just for yourself, treat yourself sort of thing. So we've got a couple here, and then I've got one more that sort of came in at the end of the last week or so that I've had a chance to check out. But the first 2 here are Million Depth and Motion Wreck from Playism. So I've had a chance to, sort of bounce around with these, both on the bedroom PC as well as in the living room on like the bigger setup. Both will play on pretty much anything. You don't have to worry if you've got, a computer from the last 10 years or so with, anything but integrated graphics. And even then, if you've got a very, very modern, like Intel Ultra series or something, you'd have no trouble playing, even with integrated graphics. Million Depth is the basically you're underground, and you're going through different timelines. You're trying to save a friend, basically. I don't want to spoil too much here, but basically action strategy. You are using something called the Biotope Jammer, which freezes all the enemies around you, and you're able to then use that extra time to defeat the enemies. You can craft things to advance. There's puzzle elements to it, and it's pretty fun. It's not so, I'd say, in depth that you're going to be worried that you're not going to be able to figure it out or do it, unless you're a hardcore gamer or anything. It's got a decent learning curve. The difficulty's there, but it's not too much. As far as visuals are concerned, it's a pretty good looking game overall. I would say you have the ability to sort of craft things and how you go around about it. It's got a very, anime-ish style to it, but it's pretty good. I don't think it's going to be for everybody out there, but it's a pretty fun game overall. And, it's sitting at about, depending on the country you're in, at least in Canada, it's about $20 right now. It might be on sale where you are, so keep an eye out for it. The other game, Motion Wreck, is one that I had seen, I think, about 6 months ago, maybe more, when they had the Japanese indie showcases. It's usually hours and hours and hours, and I watched that. And this was one of the ones I highlighted when going, this is really neat. So for Motion Wreck, it's the post-apocalyptic world. You're playing a robot named Wreck, and as you travel and try to traverse, it's a platformer, you can record a set amount of movement, and when you repeat that movement, so like they're recording and replaying it, your character will then repeat the exact same movement in the exact same positions, and you use that to get around and platform around the areas you normally wouldn't be able to access. Pretty sweet. Really cool idea. Harkens back to the era of when like you would go and play like arcade style games at home. It's that sort of, it's a mixture of like 80s arcade style puzzle mixed with like Nintendo into the Super Nintendo era of like visuals, but at the same time it makes me think of something like the 8-bit computers, like a ZX Spectrum or something like that. Pretty neat. And again, this one is about $12 Canadian. There is a bundle you can get if you're getting it on Steam to get the game plus the original soundtrack for $20. Depending on the sale, where you are, I say it's worth it. It's got a really cool visual style, and as far as, like I said, running it on your computer, like minimum requirements for this, a Pentium D. A Pentium D is from like 15 years ago. Or an Athlon 64 with 1 gigs of RAM. It's recommending a video card of a GeForce 7600 GS. Basically 256 megs, meaning that this can run on anything modern, even with integrated graphics. You won't have any issues. So if you're concerned, it'll run on your laptop, it'll run on your desktop, it'll run on your like Steam Deck, all that sort of stuff. No issues whatsoever. I recommend it highly. I really enjoyed my time with this one. And as far as the other title that I wanted to mention, that sort of fits in with these indies, is Dragon Blazers. Now this is not from the same publisher. This is a separate one, but again, it was sort of in the realm of the retro-inspired sort of arcadey, platformy, beat-em-up sort of game. This is think like Monster. Was it like Monster World or the other like almost like Adventure Island style games, if that makes sense. And you're going around. It's platformer. You have up to 2 players you can play as. You can go side-scrolling, dungeon exploration, beat 'em up, highly colorful, anime-ish style. Again, works on pretty much anything. It requires a Pentium 4 or later with 256 megs of RAM, and basically works on anything. Really colorful characters, decent controls. I've had a good time with it. As far as anything beyond that, I can just say it's a fun game. So if you're interested, it's available, on Steam. Depending on the price, I'm going to say you kind of have to determine whether or not it's good for you for your region. It does have a recommended OS of Windows 7 or later with 1 gig graphics and Pentium 4 later, but that's only if you're, I guess, playing it at a higher resolution. It's one of those games that scales to anything. So I had a good time with it. You might too. That's all I can say. That's sort of going to do it for this smaller indie roundup of titles I've been playing over the last few weeks. They're all worth your time. I think they all fit different niches, but at the same time, I do think if you're a fan of like retro style 90s games with interesting new takes on visuals and controls, then I think they're worth your time for sure.
This is Solid Snake, and you're listening to This Week in Geek with Mike the Birdman and the rest of the Twig crew on ThisWeekInGeek.net.
Hey guys, this is Mike the Birdman here, and I'm here with one of my early picks for our annual holiday gift guide. You'll probably hear me talk about this more a little bit later on when we go live with it, but I wanted to give you a little bit of a preview. So Konami was generous enough to send over some codes for Metal Gear Solid Delta on the Xbox Series X, and I also played this on the PlayStation 5. Metal Gear is one of my all-time favorite game series of all time. I have interviewed multiple voice actors from the series. I've beaten almost every single one. In fact, I've owned multiple versions of Snake Eater over the years, and I even had the Metal Gear Solid PlayStation console once upon a time. So being able to play Snake Eater on modern generation hardware was a utter treat. Like, you can put these two games side by side. Like, if you want to know if that ration's going to be there, it's going to be there. Is the sniper rifle going to be there? The scorpion pistol? All those things, all your old bullshit tricks work, and even more. This is a fantastic... I don't even know what to call this, because it's a remake and it's a remaster. It is pretty much everything that you'd want a modern game to be that is an update of an older game. And my experience with this title was really fantastic. Like, there's multiple different control schemes. I played with the updated version of this, and it felt like my CQC was a lot more effective. I wasn't accidentally knocking people out. In fact, it felt like it was a lot easier to do stealth runs this time around, just because the controls felt a lot tighter on my PlayStation Pro controller, and also on my Xbox Elite Series X controller as well. Plus, like, there isn't a lot to really say about the storyline. Like, it is the Metal Gear game you remember. Like, there's even all the Easter eggs are here, although the nightmare sequence has been updated. And if you know exactly what I'm talking about, go check that out. You can do like the secret theater and stuff like that. There's like different costumes and camouflages and all that stuff. And because I've now have the advantage of having played this game over the course of like what feels like 20 something years, new tactics work on like some of the bosses. Like, if you want to sniper the end before he has a chance to become that really annoying sniper battle, you could still do that. So yeah, like, this is ultimately one of the best games I've played this year, and probably of all time, because it is one of those games to me that has such fond memories on the PlayStation 2 and even the 3DS and the other platforms that it has been ported to over the years. Like, Metal Gear Solid Delta is one of those games that I think is going to be a landmark in terms of what a modern remake can be. I'm really hoping at some point, Konami, I know you're listening right now, I would love to get a remake of Metal Gear Solid The Twin Snakes from the GameCube, or Metal Gear Solid, if you have to remake it like you did this. Yes, please. And look, if I have to offer you my firstborn for Metal Gear Solid for Guns of the Patriots, you know what? Maybe we can have that conversation. But absolutely expect this game to show up on my holiday gift guide. I had such a blast with this. There's multiple ways to play. Replayability is definitely there. Whether you want to go for a complete Foxhound run, if you truly want to earn the rank of Big Boss, you can do it. Or whether you want to be a trigger-happy psycho, you can do that too. But seriously, Metal Gear Solid Delta by Konami is an absolute winner, and definitely something you want to have on your consoles later on this holiday season.
Snake, you've created a time paradox. The future must not be changed. You must know the future.
Hey guys, this is Mike the Birdman here, and this is one of our selections we're going to be making for our 2025 holiday gift guide. We had a review code provided to us by Bandai Namco, and we are looking at the Switch 2 version of Once Upon a Katamari. So this is a game that my wife actually reviewed for us here on the show, and I'm going to kind of give you my thoughts too, as I had a chance to play through some of it as well. I'm typically not into these games, although, to share a personal note, when I played this game, it got real personal for about an hour, where I wanted to beat one of the puzzles in this, just to say, oh, you are not getting away with this BS. And thankfully, I beat it, much to my wife's surprise, because I'm just not used to this type of game. More or less, my type of game is, can I punch it in the face, or can I shoot it with a rocket launcher? And, well, this time it involves rolling up cows and milk and other bizarre pieces of cheese. Anyway, getting aside. So my wife writes, welcome back to the Prince and the King, who is hilarious and can basically kind of give you crap when you don't accomplish certain objectives. When you're rolling up your Katamari, has to be a certain size and all that. And, you know, if you don't do what he wants, he's going to give you crap, much like any parent would, I guess. However, that gentle ribbing is enough for you to basically go back in and say, all right, let's try this again, which definitely happened to me during my playthrough with this. As with all the other Katamari games, there is an underlying story, and it seems to be with this one. Basically, the king of all the cosmos was messing around, and of course, shenanigans, and now you kind of wiped out the planets and the stars, and now it's time to rebuild everything to make the night sky sparkle once again and restore the splendor to the universe, such as it might be. And from what I understand, this is the first new Katamari game in like 14 years or something. Again, a lot of these have been off my radar. Fortunately, we've had the re-releases recently, like Katamari Damacy Reroll and stuff like that, which my wife looked at, I think, a couple of years ago. But yeah, so again, the point of any Katamari game is to roll around. You start really small, and eventually you get bigger and bigger and more ridiculous, where you're sticking things to this little ball of fluff, and eventually you could be rolling up people, cows, buildings. I've seen some utter ridiculousness happen in some of these Katamari games when I would come into the room and go, what the hell is going on? And more often than not with these Katamari games, that's more often than not what I'm actually kind of thinking. However, though, there are new riffs to this where you maybe have to gather different items in a level. I know one of them is like you have to get tumbleweeds, you might have to get beverages or stuff like that, and just, you know, achieve certain objectives to get to the conclusion of the level. But sometimes they'll introduce new environmental hazards. I know one level that gave my wife a little bit of trouble till we figured out the trick to it is one level where you're gathering tumbleweeds. There was an excessive wind, so you couldn't go down certain paths in the game unless you had one of the new power-ups. Like if you had a rocket, you could go against the wind and go down that way. But there's also power-ups like a magnet that allows you to suck stuff up. There's a thing that allows you to stop time. So when you start getting that annoying last 30-second alarm bell, you can put a stop to that and get like an extra 15 or 30 seconds, which also in this game kind of makes a difference between success and failure. In also terms of level design and environment, you're jumping around from all different eras of time. So like ancient, like dinosaur type time, like in like the Jurassic era. There's like Japanese style stuff, big surprise there. The Wild West, and all sorts of weird places you'll go. As always with these games, there's a fun selection of music. We did get the Uber edition for this, so we can put different music in there. Again, the Katamari games has always been a very strangely, weirdly hypnotic type of music. I kind of dig it. Don't know if it's going to end up on my Spotify playlist, but it is kind of fun. Regardless, though, this is one of those games where if you dig the previous Katamaris, I think you're really going to kind of dig this, and especially as a Katamari game on newer hardware. I think now maybe they can do a lot more stuff like that, but these games never were like system breaking hardware, or games rather. Like there's just a lot of simplicity here, but it's really goofy, sort of fun. I'm kind of trying to convince my wife to get a tattoo of the prince because he's so odd and just kind of funny. Honestly, these games are not my jam, but literally it's the only thing she plays on my Switch too, outside of maybe like Mario games. And if I can make my wife into a gamer that isn't Pokemon Go, I think that's a fairly strong indictment of how fun this game is. And the fact that this game drew me in for an hour where I couldn't beat a section of the game because I would just miss it by one or two items. There's a line from Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back where Mark Hamill is fighting Jay and Silent Bob, and he literally says, "Oh, you are not upstaging me, Vanderbeek." That is literally how I felt with this. Like, you are not beating me, the prince. We are going to settle this here and now. So, Once Upon a Katamari by Bandai Namco is actually really recommended from my wife and myself. You should check this out if you love these games. If you want a weird puzzle game, well, you're not going to find anything weirder on the market right now. I'm willing to put my reputation on the line for that.
Alex, the producer here, and I have a couple of movies that I wanted to talk about that we received for review. Naked Gun and Spinal Tap The End Continues, or Spinal Tap 2. These are interesting. I know I saw Naked Gun in theaters, and I was pleasantly surprised with it. It's been a while since I've seen a comedy that had, wide market appeal in theaters. And now I've had a chance to check it out on home video. Our friends over at Paramount sent a review Blu-ray over. It includes a digital copy where you can, watch anywhere, depending on where you're going to redeem it. Based on the country, you'll see it on the box, basically. As far as special features are concerned, it includes deleted alternate and extended scenes, most of which I would say I understand why they were cut. It wouldn't have necessarily made the movie better. It might have changed the pacing a little bit, so I'm happy that they're included to see, but it's not like you lost anything if you saw it in theaters. There is a special feature called The Legacy of Laughter, which is a retrospective on the franchise, which is an interesting take. There is another little documentary on here called Son of a Naked Gun, which goes into the creation of the modern characters for the movie, as well as a feature on Pamela Anderson's character called The Funny Femme Fatale, and some more little features here and there, but nothing too crazy to write home about. I can say that it is a really good transfer. It's would be better if this was obviously a 4K set, but for the kind of comedy that it is, it looks visually really good on Blu-ray. It's going to look better than what you get if you're watching it, in streaming. Audio-wise, this is not a overly bombastic soundtrack or really crazy sound design. What's most important is the dialogue is clean and clear. It comes in crisp, and the sound effects, while silly and ridiculous sometimes, they add to it, and it's a really good mix overall. I'd say it's a solid release. I've had fun time going back and rewatching it, and now that I have it on home video, I'm able to pause it and look for all the little Easter eggs and things that are in there, and that is a big part of why these films and that franchise has been endearing, is seeing all the little things that they put in the background and whatnot. So I do think it's worth it. It's worth checking out. And the other film, as I mentioned, Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues. I have been a big fan of Spinal Tap since it was one of the first DVDs I bought back in 2000, maybe, when we got the original DVD set of it. And obviously I'd heard of it before that, but that was the first time I really watched it. It was one of the first big mockumentaries, and for years and years there were thoughts, and maybe they were going to do sequels. They had done a sequel album for the original album that was like the soundtrack, and then there was the appearance on The Simpsons in the early 90s, and then nothing for like 30 years. So for those that don't know, Spinal Tap is a fake heavy metal group of aging rockers. Even, I guess they were sort of over the hill in the early 80s when the movie came out. That was the idea, is that they were like 60s hippie pop stars that ended up becoming heavy metal guys, and just the excess and ridiculousness and overall buffoonery that involves them, and tragedy and struggles that a band has, breaking up, coming back together, and the ridiculous stuff on tour, that sort of idea. And that's what they made the movie, and it became a very, very big cult hit and became a blueprint for future mockumentaries and TV shows going forward ever since. So now we have finally a sequel. It's basic description is it's 41 years after this is Spinal Tap. They're basically, the band is no longer together. They're all sort of estranged from each other, and they're trying to reunite for one final concert, which is going to be recorded again by Marty DeBurgi, the in canon director, played by the real life director of the film, Rob Reiner. Now, what is happening is they were able to get a bunch of famous celebrities to be in this as well. Paul McCartney, Elton John, and it has that loose mockumentary feel to it. It's fun. This has been released by our friends at Castle Rock and Bleecker Street, so it's a fairly bare bones release. There's not a whole lot to it, but it had a very limited release in theaters. So I feel this is going to be the first time a lot of people are going to know that it's out and be able to watch it. And for that, it's worth it. As far as audio, the sound design is great as you'd expect from a musical mockumentary film like this. It's 5.1 master audio. The video presentation is, again, better than you get during streaming. I would say it's not the highest quality video out there, but it's not designed to be. It's still supposed to have that feeling like you're watching a rock documentary. So in that sense, it's really good. The performances are all fantastic. If you like the original, you'll like it. If you haven't seen the original, you kind of have to. It's worth going back and maybe picking up the original film and watching this as a double feature. It'll be a great dad gift is the best thing I can say for it. So I think these are two interesting films that you might want to check out and consider for stocking stuffers, or for just that movie collector, or in this case music documentary mockumentary collector buff in your life.
Those magnificent bastards! Color me kooky, but something very odd is going on around here.
You're not allowed to talk anymore.
And that's going to do it for the show this week. What do we have coming up? Well, we've been recording a bunch of Future Imperfect, Loose Cannons, and a few other things in between. This upcoming week, we've got, obviously, Earth versus Soup. That is... for Mission Mars from 1968, not Mission to Mars. That might be something we have coming up later, but we've got that coming. And then this following next week, we have Earth vs. Soup episode 284, 4D Man from 1958. As far as other programming, this coming week, we still haven't determined 100% if we're doing a full regular show or if in its place is going to be the Black Friday program. That it depends on how long the Black Friday program ends up being. If it's a very short episode, then you can expect it to be two separate ones here. But as far as actual programming that we've got ready to go, we have a loose cannon on the Goofy movie double feature. So both of those Goofy movies, and a very Goofy movie and a very Goofy movie. We've also been recording a bunch of stuff for Future Imperfect regarding Star Trek movies. We've got a few other spacefaring films lined up, and a bunch of sort of off-topic random stuff from Loose Cannon that we recorded previously over the summer break as well as the fall. We've got episodes of Future Imperfect on Judge Dredd coming up. We've got Loose Cannons on Treasure Planet, some Disney stuff, as well as just off-topic discussions on things like, from Random Access Memories, on like physical media. We've got video games, just overall topic discussion talks. We've also got a bunch of other stuff coming. So there's a fair bit there. Over the next few weeks, expect most of the programming to be focused on Black Friday and holiday gift guide stuff. So for the holiday gift guide, expect similar format to what we've done in the past, where Birdman and I have a bunch of things that we've spent a few minutes talking about that we've had a chance to look at. And for the Black Friday, I'm going to do a cursory look at some of the specials that are available in Canada and some maybe in the States, as well as some brief, touch upon some brief reviews / overviews / first impressions on some of the smaller items that we were sent that probably also have a sale going on that following week. Now that all of the sales information is sort of popping up, we've sort of been collecting all that, and that'll be a very quick, easy breezy thing if you want to listen to and have a quick cheat sheet maybe you can look at for some gift ideas, and we'll go from there. But that's going to do it for the show this week. We'll be back with either the main show on Monday or the the Black Friday deals week small mini guide. Not sure what we're calling it just yet, but we'll be back with that shortly in a few days right here at ThisWeekInGeek.net.
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
Thanks for listening to this episode of This Week in Geek. Hungry for more? Check out our website at ThisWeekInGeek.net. You can subscribe to the podcast, browse our Twitter and Instagram, and leave your thoughts on today's topics. If you'd like to give us some feedback, send us an email at feedback@thisweekingeek.net. Tune in next time, and remember,
lower your shields and surrender your listenership.
We would be honored if you would join us.
Thank you for your cooperation. Good night.